Hi everyone, hope you guys are all doing well. I just wanted to make a quick video here just talking about some of the consequences that have been happening as a result of the Bank of Canada's ongoing interventions in monetary policy and also too in fiscal policy in a lot of ways. Unfortunately, my brother couldn't make it, so it's just me doing the video here. I know that you guys have been enjoying the dual commentaries and discussions with the both of us. Unfortunately, it's just me this time, so you'll have to just put up with just one of us on this video. But the article that I just want to use as the backdrop for this discussion is a Globe and Mail article that was published on February 5th of this year, and it's entitled "New Alarm Bells Over Household Debt as Canada Faces, in quotes, Downward Spiral." So a pretty dramatic title there on this article here, and the reason why Canada faces a potential downward spiral is just due to the fact that the household debt, the household debt to income ratio hit an all-time high of 162.6% in the previous quarter. So that just means if a household in Canada had a combined income of $100,000, then that household would also have roughly $163,000 in debt, which, as this article, and I won't break the article down too much, but as this article mentions, it is accelerating. So not only has it reached a new all-time high, but it is actually getting worse. And I just want to point out a particular paragraph here. It says that the residential mortgage credit grew by 5.3% last year, so in 2014, while non-mortgage credit grew by 3% in 2014. And then importantly, the last sentence of that paragraph, the pace of growth for both kinds of credit accelerated in 2014 from a year earlier, so from 2013. So it is getting worse, both in the residential mortgage, so mortgage credit, so people taking on more and more larger houses, larger mortgages, and also too, I would just assume that the non-mortgage credit is consumer debt and things like this, lines of credit. And very interesting too, I should just point out that in between the years 2007 and 2014, Canada had the second biggest jump in the household debt to income ratio of any country other than Greece. And if you've been following economics, following the economic news recently, Greece is in a really bad situation. So this just goes to show just that it's not great up here in Canada either. And I know a lot of the videos that I make and a lot of the videos just kind of focusing in on the U.S. Federal Reserve and also to just the perspective from the American dollar. Up here in Canada, it's not great either, and again, we have a lot of problems. But just to go a little bit deeper, I think that there's a couple of reasons why the household debt to income ratio is so high in Canada. For sure, one of the main reasons is just due to the interest rate policy of the Bank of Canada, particularly between 2007 and now that it's 2015. Interest rates have been too low for too long, in my opinion. And what this does is, again, it allows people to be able to service more and more debt a lot easier than they otherwise would have. So again, every time they go into debt, the interest rates are a lot lower than what they probably typically should be. And again, their interest rate payments on the debt are therefore lower than what they otherwise would be. So people are able to just push off paying off their debt into the future due to the low interest rates. And again, that's not getting any better up here in Canada. Again, if you've listened to our last video or just paid attention to the Canadian economic news recently, the Bank of Canada has further cut interest rates from 1% to 0.75%. And again, they have another interest rate policy decision coming up in March. And the general consensus up here in Canada is there's going to be a further rate reduction in March. It wouldn't be surprising to see it cut to 0.5% in March. Again, we don't know what's going to happen then, but it's most likely that further interest rates, the interest rates will be reduced further in March. So again, it's not getting better. These low interest rates allow people to maybe take on a larger mortgage than they would have otherwise. And again, it definitely puts off them having to pay their debt off quicker than what they would have otherwise had to do. And again, to just in regards to our housing situation up here in Canada, even though this is getting a lot worse, the household debt to income ratio is getting worse. It's every quarter, or at least every year, it seems to be like we hit a new all-time high. And even though everyone agrees that there's a potential downward spiral on the horizon, nobody's really making the fact that it's probably just going to get worse if we keep these interest rates this low, perpetually into the future. Nobody really sees anything wrong with changing the interest rates, and particularly now that oil has gone a lot lower and really put a damper on the Canadian economy. I don't think that we're going to see interest rates rise anytime soon, which is again just going to push our housing market into an even worse situation. But some of the consequences are which will most likely, in my opinion, stem from this rising household debt to income ratio, is really Canadians are a lot poorer than what they think they are. By going into debt, they're living at a lifestyle and at a standard of living that really they wouldn't otherwise be living at if they had to pay off their debt in a way that was much more realistic without low interest rates. Now that could be deflationary in the sense if people had to pay their debts if interest rates were to rise. Again, it would probably push us into a pretty bad economic situation, which may be deflationary. But in my opinion, and just from watching over the last couple of years, the reaction of politicians and also from the Bank of Canada is they're looking to prevent any type of correction from happening, any type of negative general economic event. They don't want to let a recession happen. They don't want prices to correct. And also, too, they don't want to let the housing market up here correct either. So we've seen the consequence of that policy in the most recent interest rate cut, which is inflationary. So in my opinion, what's going to happen is interest rates are going to stay lower for a lot longer than they should have or normally would be. So interest rates will be lower in just a response to not let housing correct and not let the economy in Canada slip back into recession. So in my opinion, and just in discussing this with my brother, we're both of the same mind here, is again the inflationary monetary policy and fiscal policy is most likely going to continue in the coming years. Who knows how long they can let this go on for. It's gone a lot longer than what I thought was going to happen. So I'm not really comfortable with predicting into the future how long this could go on for. But that's just one of the reasons why we've turned to precious metals, silver, and hopefully some gold, just to be able to protect our wealth in the future in this ongoing inflationary environment. And also to coin roll hunting in a lot of ways, just with copper pennies, which we can't get up here in Canada anymore. But just the reason why we'll be doing some nickel coin roll hunting as well, just to help us diversify into a number of different assets, which hopefully will preserve our wealth in this inflationary environment. So it's definitely not great up here in Canada either. The household debt to income ratio has hit another all-time high, basically in my opinion due to the low interest rate environment. And again, too, I don't think that that's a controversial position. This article discusses it, and it's pretty common knowledge at this point. And again, too, because it seems like the policy from politicians and the Bank of Canada is they don't want to let housing correct, especially in a way that's volatile, and they don't want to have any type of recession or correction come due to low oil prices. I think we can expect the inflationary environment to at least continue for a number of years. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that you guys found it enjoyable, and as always, please let me know what your opinions are down in the comments section below as it relates to Canada or the US or any other country. The situation is the same, really, in my opinion, with all the central banks across the world. So it'd just be great to hear some of the connections in your countries, or just the application to the Canadian situation. But if you guys could, we'd always appreciate it if you could like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this video. It might just be one of us on the next couple of videos, but we hope to be able to get back into some duel discussions and commentaries together. And of course too, we're going to be making a silver purchase at some point in the near future, and also get back into coin roll hunting. And as always, we'll share the results from that with you guys too. But thank you so much for watching. That's it for this video. I'll see you guys next time.